Hey. I never know how to start my videos. If you're here from YouTube and not from TikTok, hey. Most of the tutorials I make on my channel are usually requests that I get from my TikTok. I post more on TikTok. I'm not as active right now, but I post a lot more on my TikTok, and sometimes people request, you know, like, hey, can you show us how you did this, how you did that? And then I come on here and I make it. In this tutorial, I'm just showing you how I made this meshy crochet cardigan, like you see in the thumbnail, or I might just put some pictures up here or videos. This project is, you're gonna get this done in no more than 5 hours. For materials, what did I use? Stitch markers, you know, the regular thing that we always use. Stitch markers, scissors. For the crochet hooks, anything above 6.5. If you have a 6mm hook instead, you can use that. Just loosen your tension. Another important thing that you will need as well is a steamer. Well, I'll be using a steamer. If you don't have a steamer, it should be okay. You can block your stuff in different ways. There's different methods that you can Google. So when I made the last 2 cardigans, I used these big skeins. They usually have around 380 yards, 170 grams. This cardigan is very similar to the first cardigan I made. The stitch is just a little different. Cotton yarn is definitely a great option for this because it naturally has that drape. Acrylic yarn is always like shrinking up, so that's why. And then it's not as flowy sometimes, so that's why I recommend using a steamer for this project, so it can be nice, lightweight, and very flowy, and so that you won't have to use so much yarn. And to begin, this is very simple. We're gonna make the amount of chains. Don't make your tension too tight. It doesn't have to necessarily be too loose. But you're gonna make the amount of chains that stretch from your shoulder or the shoulder. So you're basically your cross back. Here, I'm just gonna stretch it over here. It's over here. Now mine's a little too long. I don't want mine to be too baggy. It's gonna have space. It's gonna stretch as acrylic, but I don't want mine that baggy, so I'm definitely going to let go of some of the stitches up to here. I like when my meshy cardigans and stuff have this little hem. This little hem. You see that in the bottom? So this is where we are right now. This is what we're going to create. This is the bottom of this cardigan here. We're going to create that little foundation chain or whatever using single crochet. We're going to chain 1 because we're skipping the first chain, going into the second, and start our single crochets. And we're doing that all the way down here on the last chain. This is what it should look like when you're done. When you get towards the end, you're going to chain 8. That's how I did mine. So chain 8, 1, 2, 8. We're gonna turn this around, and then we're going to skip 4 stitches and double crochet into the 5th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and so we're gonna double crochet into the 5th. So pull through 2, pull through 2, and then pull through 2 again. So it's gonna look. Now we're gonna chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we're gonna double crochet into the 5th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're skipping 4 stitches and then double crochet into the 5th. And we're just going to continue this pattern all the way down here. If you have an odd number left out, like an extra 1 or extra 2, just work with that. Don't have it hanging, or just don't leave the 2. Like, for example, so if we're here and we have to chain into the 5th, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't chain here, don't double crochet here and leave the 2 hanging. Just double crochet into the last. So again, like we did in the beginning here, we're gonna chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Chain 8. You're gonna double crochet into this space, but the thing about putting it into the gap, there's more shrinkage. The stitch will move. Some people do not like that, so if you don't like that, you should just go into a stitch instead. So you see how like this is moving? Now I like that when I make my cardigans. I don't mind it, so that's why I don't mind like this. If you do not like that, you don't like your stitch to move, you should go into the 3rd chain. You want to go somewhere into the middle. So I would go right in here in this stitch, double crochet, and then you'll chain 6, double crochet in the middle, chain 6, double crochet in the middle, chain 6, double crochet nibble in the middle, and then in the middle. I wouldn't do in the middle, I would do more on the last stitch for this one. So at this point, you should have an idea of how I'm doing this and how we're supposed to move on. So again, 8, so 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to turn our work. This is what it's looking like right now, but you see how much it shrunk up, right? And then double crochet into the first box here, or that first gap, chain 6, and then we're going to double crochet into the next. And now you're gonna keep repeating this as how long you want this to be. So I'm finished with my entire back panel. We're continuing from here. We're making the 2 front panels, and it's gonna be 2 strips. Basically, we're splitting this in half. So we're gonna have one of the panel here, and then another panel here. We're continuing from here. We're not finishing it off here. So what I'm gonna do is count and see how many spaces I have across the back panel. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what I'm gonna do is for each panel, I'm gonna make them 3 rows wide. So not 3 rows, but 3 spaces wide. So I'll chain 8, get in here, here, and here, chain 8 again, come back in here, chain 6, double crochet in here, and you know, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then over here we're gonna do the same thing. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we're gonna have one odd one out here. So if you have 12 rows, just split it in half. You're gonna have 6, 6. If you have 8, 4, 4. If you have 9, 4, 4. So over in this brown one, this was 8 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sorry, I meant 9. These were 9 little spaces across. So on the top here, when I was starting the front panels, I had one odd one out. As you can see here, none of the chains are in here. They start from here. You see, this is the front panel starting over here. So I have that one odd one out. We're gonna chain 8. That's 3 and 5 more. 3, 4, 5, and then we're gonna turn that around. And we're gonna work into half the amount of spaces that you chose to work in. So mine is 3. So half double crochet into the first space, chain 6. And this is gonna be my last space for this row. I'm gonna chain 8, then I'm gonna turn around. I'm trying to back up so you can see it better. So double crochet into the same space, chain 6, and then double crochet into the other space. So we're just following that same routine or that same pattern until your new front panel lines up with your back panels. So I'm done with the first panel here, as you could see. So how I count them is I put a stitch marker where I started my first row for the back panel, which is here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and on the last row, this is what I do. I chain 2, half double crochet in every of these chain, and end it off right here so it can look like this. So I have the row done. And then we're gonna start on the next side of the front panel. So I'm finished with the back. This is the back, and then this is the 2 front panels. So now I'm going to steam it. I can't really record the steaming process, but I will show you the steamer that I will be using. I've got it from Walmart. So basically you take this out, you put water in it, you plug it in, and the steam comes out of here. And I'm going to increase the width of this. I need this to be wider. This is the back panel, and I definitely need the front panels to be wider as well, and I'm gonna make them a little longer. So I'm done steaming mine, and you see the difference. We're gonna work on creating the armhole, so I'm just gonna flip these over and line these panels up. So to create the arm depth, we're going to stitch up the sides of these 2 panels, so the edge here and here. You can use one of those plastic yarn needles. I like to just use these in a smaller hook, which is a 4 I think I'm gonna use. To stitch the sides, I decided to size up to a 4.5, mainly because the hook, it has like this weird texture to it. So we're gonna line these up. This is the front panel, as you can see, and then this is the back panel. So we're gonna find the 2 outer edge, and we're gonna stitch these up. So we're going into here with the hook, or you can use a plastic yarn needle if you rather use that. I'm using a 4.5 hook, and I'm gonna go through each stitch, and we're gonna do slip stitches in each. So first I'm gonna make my slip knot right around here on the bottom part of the hem, and I'm gonna go through the other bottom part of the hem of the other panel. I'm gonna grab my slip knot. This is how I start mine. Pull that through both of those spaces, and then chain 1 into the other space of that hem, and then into the other panel, and then slip stitch, I'm trying to get it on camera in the most perfect angle. I'm going to go through this first chain, you see that, and then I'm going to go through the other chain like so, pull that through, slip stitch, and you're going to do this until you get all the way to where you want it to stop to create your armhole. So I'm finished slip stitching mines all the way from the bottom all the way here, and then this will be my armpit depth. Not too big. I think this is around like 4, maybe 5 inches, maybe 6, around there. Now I'm gonna switch my hook to the 7, because from here I'm not gonna end this off. I'm just gonna work on the sleeves, okay? And then when we're done with the sleeves, we end that off. Then we're gonna work on the next side. We're gonna repeat the same thing we did on here, which is slip stitch all the way up with the two the outer edge of the 2 panels, the back and the front, create that armhole in the sleeves. So we're literally doing the same thing that we did. Gonna chain 6, double crochet into each space, and we're just working in a spiral. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then in here double crochet into the next gap. I'm approaching the end of that first row we did. So usually sometimes I skip this little gaps and I'll go into these larger ones here instead. So I'm gonna go in here, double crochet, chain 6 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and then I think this is where we started the row. So I'm gonna go right in. Here's where I started, so I'm gonna go right in here, yarn over and double crochet, and you're gonna repeat that until it's long enough. Usually I'll make mine until it's like a little past my elbows, because I'm gonna steam it anyway. So when I steam it, it's gonna stretch and be long enough. And I'm finished with one of my sleeves. While ending it off, I chained 6. So there's the double crochet. I chained 6, and then I did a half double crochet, chained 6, and then I did a single crochet. It's like it will have like a smooth finish. You see? Chain 1, cut the yarn, end it off, and we're gonna do the same thing that we did on the other side. And this is what it looks like. It's long enough. I like it like this. This is how it looks when I'm finished steaming it. So I did mess up with the arm part because I made it a little wider, and I know I shouldn't have done that, but look at that, and then look at this. I made it too wide, so I might have to just make this wider. Honestly, I might just leave it like that, because you can't even notice the difference unless like your arms is all up like this 24/7, but that's not gonna be my case. So this is definitely a little more fitted. So if you want it a little tighter, make it the direct measurement, like from here, literally, like when it stretches, make sure it can only stretch from here to here. If you want it a little bigger, a little baggier, you can do like here to here. If you want it way more baggy, here, like, you understand, the wider you make that, start that cross back, the baggier is gonna be. Last thing we have to do is add the straps, or the little the tie, the thing that's the little 2 strings to tie them together. So I'm gonna put my stitch markers in those same spots. Gonna make a slip knot, and I'm gonna do it while like it's on, because why not? Slip knot, and I'm still using the 7. At this point you could size down a little bit if you want to. I don't really care to size down. So, and I'm gonna find that same gap, pull that through, and I'm gonna chain probably like 15. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This should be long enough, but I'm gonna do 25. Okay, this is good. And I'm gonna do that same thing over there, and look, we're done. And that's all. Last step is weaving your ends. I'm gonna weave in mine off camera. I'm assuming you know how to also weave in your ends. And that's it. This is really cute. I love it. I'm thinking about lining like the sleeve of fur. I might not, because I did mess this sleeve up. You saw how like baggy it looks, and then fur have that like, it will make it hang even more, and I don't want that. But you see how flowy it is too after you steam it. I love that. And this, look, we use like half of the skein, or not even. You see, like, you don't need to use a lot of yarn for this. Well, depending on your size too as well, and how big you're making it and how long you're making it. Please let me know if this tutorial was helpful. I feel like I don't really get enough comments on like people telling me if I'm doing a good job at tutorials. Like, I'm new to this and I want to know if I'm doing a good job. Like, am I bad at explaining shit? Like, please let me know. I need that constructive criticism, okay? Because I don't know if this video helping you or not. Like, but if you know, you make it, you could tag me.